From pole-bending largemouth, there you go.
There we go.
That didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
To a boat full of striped bass.
Went right at the head.
Anglers and Appetites returns to the jewel of South Carolina to wet our hook in Lake Murray. And the Appetite himself prepares a massive Epicurean arsenal from Italian to Creole.
You get a little Creole if you're feeling it.
Anglers and Appetites is coming right up.
Woo!
I do the catching, and Phil does the cooking.
I can be taught.
Well, sort of. From mountain streams to deep blue seas and everything in between. See, here's how it works. I love fishing, but I'm not the country's greatest angler, but I know how to find the best, and oh yeah, they make me look good. Phil, he's the Appetite. And he may not be the best chef, but he learns from the best and, of course, eats from the best. And as you'll see, we don't waste our time. The capital city of Columbia sets the stage with gorgeous architecture and charming downtown streets, but the surrounding towns like Newberry always give us reason to return and explore. We begin this two-part journey through Lake Murray country off the docks of Deer Island State Park with one of the region's top competitive largemouth anglers. Anthony Gagliardi brings home the hardware on a consistent basis, so it was an honor to step onto his vessel and learn a few tricks of the trade, and even catch an above-water glimpse of a few Lake Murray treetop inhabitants.
Been fortunate over my career, which is getting close to 20 years now. I graduated college and started fishing professionally. I always loved to be outdoors, and I was always competitive as a child. And so when I kind of discovered, bass fishing, tournament fishing, it was like a blend of that, competitiveness that I like, but at the same time, I got to do something that I love, and so that's just all I've done. That's the only thing that I know.
Deer Island, this is a beautiful spot, good launching point.
Terrific facility, for tournament fishermen or just weekend anglers or recreational anglers. I'm over here quite a bit, but this is where we had the Forest Wood Cup the last 2 years was out of here. So it's a terrific facility, for fishing and boating and all kinds of lake stuff.
So what am I emulating here? What do we have? Just a frog?
I mean, we call it a frog, and it's made to look like a frog, but I don't think they always think that it's a frog. Like this bait I'm fishing here, buzzbait, there's been millions of bass caught on, and I couldn't tell you what it's supposed to emulate. I think that they're pretty opportunistic. They see something that's small enough that they can eat, and it looks like it might be real, and so they'll go after it.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
That didn't take long.
No, it didn't.
Yes, sir. Nice, Anthony. Right off the bat.
Right off the bat.
That's a good one. Looking at a 3-pounder? What do you say?
He's probably a little bit shy. He's a little thin.
That's a pretty
good
one.
fish, though.
Yes, sir.
Man, right off the bat, it's about a 2.5 pounder, just a nice solid Lake Murray fish. Caught him up here and just right off the edge of that grass. Actually hit a little bit farther out closer to the boat. He wasn't up in the grass, but that's a nice one. Probably up eating bluegill. Probably that's what he's doing.
There we go. Now it's my fish. How about that?
He's got some kind of old injury right there on his back. You can see that maybe a gar or something when he was little.
Yeah, healed up nicely. It's been growing. Look at the osprey fighting. Sweet.
He's got something.
Yeah, he does. He's got our fish. Darn it.
Oh, there's one.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
That one was in the mood.
He was in the mood. Maybe he's got a buddy. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah.
That's a nice bass.
Oh, yeah. You're 2 for 2. Yes, sir. Not like the last one, huh?
Yeah, he's a little bit fatter. The ones you catch out in the open water like this, they move around, they're feeding more, and so they're usually a little bit fatter and healthier than those ones that are on the bank.
I'd say he's fat and healthy. Oh, he took off.
Did you see that? I've never seen one do that. I've never seen one do that.
Holy cow.
like you're doing a... Yeah, I mean, really.
Hey! You make me come alive.
I've never felt so free.
Can't get you off my mind. There's still so much to see. You bring out the best in me. Hey! You make me come alive.
There's still so much to see.
You make me come alive. I never felt so free.
So as my fishing adventure was off to a good start with one of the region's prized anglers, Phil decides to hit the streets of Lexington, South Carolina. During our last Lake Murray adventure, he heard talk of the town's bustling foodie scene, so he tracked down a man with a little local knowledge.
All right, JR, I've been fascinated by this little town of Lexington, but they told me you are the man that knows the history. So talk to me about the history of Main Street.
Yeah, so Lexington has a very interesting history. It started in 1820, really. The courthouse and jail were in another location called Granby. Granby was in a low-lying area where it flooded all the time, and so they wanted to really move it to higher ground, somewhere more centrally located. The land that we're on right now was owned by a woman named Barbara Corley. They called her Granny Corley.
Granny.
And she sold the land in 1820 to the state to build a courthouse and jail, and then kind of divided up the rest of the land. So that's how the town of Lexington got started, was from that sale right there. A lot of people that settled here back in the 1700s were of German and Swiss German heritage. So they brought with them a lot of their traditions. So they brought with them their cooking traditions. So one of the things that we really love around here is mustard barbecue sauce.
Mustard barbecue sauce.
Mustard barbecue sauce.
Why?
Yeah, because it's fantastic.
So now the time has come for Phil to partake in his epic feast, beginning at O'Hara's.
I grew up the 12th to 15 kids in a big Irish family, and one of the things that really impacted me was my parents' desire to be hospitable, to bring people in, to treat them good, to welcome them in the home, and to treat them to a good meal and a good time.
So when I hear the term Irish pub house, explain that to people who might not be familiar with it.
The word pub grew out of the public house. The public house was created by laws in Europe, England, and Ireland that set the rules for what these establishments could do. It's the place where people came together to do the important business of people connecting with people.
Well, one of the things I like to do is I like to connect with food and also with drink. And I understand there's a lot of that going on.
Among our best sellers would include a fish and chips, which is super important. That's one of the cornerstones of the Irish pub. We've got a shepherd's pie, which is one of the most traditional Irish dishes, and we serve that both as an entree, and we also do an appetizer version. Great little mini shepherd's pies, 1 or 2 bites, and it gives people an insight to really the core of the Irish diet, which is meat and potatoes. We've got 30 beers on tap, and what you see over my shoulder is the Irish Tower, and that is, you must be brewed in Ireland to make it onto the Irish Tower. We've got the brand that is synonymous with the Irish pub, which is Guinness. When you walk into the pubs in Ireland, people are having a pint of Guinness.
And it's right over my shoulder. So, Wes, which one? That one?
Go with the Magners.
Okay, I need a Magnus. And then you're going to go with Guinness, right?
I'll have a pint of Guinness.
Okay, we'll go with a pint. Tell me something. The Snug. I saw it on the wall when I came in. What is the Snug?
The Snug is an important part of the history of the Irish pub. It's a private little drinking space. It grew out of a time when a decent woman wouldn't be seen drinking in the pubs of Ireland. But the owners of the pubs wanted a place where the important women in their lives would have a place to be. So their mother, their wife, their mistress. And the Snug grew into this private drinking space where you might find the on-duty cop having a nip, or the parish priest who didn't want all of his people to see him out having his afternoon cocktail. And so the Snug is our tip of the cap to that private drinking space.
Matt, thank you so much. We appreciate it. I've got a couple other places here on Main Street I'm going to go check out, but I'm going to hang out with you for a little while.
Sounds good. Enjoyed having you visit.
Oh, thank you. David's going to love this. Or maybe not.
From the Irish pleasantries of O'Hara's to a private place right down the road. Of course, that was until Phil met these two gals with a fork.
Whoa, 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 whoa. We're on private property?
It's legal.
It's promise. Don't worry about it, honey. We know the owner.
I'm trusting these girls because they already took me.
Yes.
It's two gals and a fork, and we're about to get into some private
We're
property.
gonna have some good food and good fun.
All right, girl, let's go.
Let's
All
go.
right.
Come on in.
What is two gals and a fork all about?
Well, we have been doing food tours. We take people on walk-in historical food tours in Columbia, in Lexington, and in Newberry, and share the history and the fabulous restaurants here.
We've been doing it since 2014 and having a great time. We just love what we do.
So what made you guys want to do that, to be able to give tours in a city with great restaurants, obviously?
When Gloria and I travel, this is what we do. We look for a food tour in the city where we are so that we can kind of get a feel for the culture and know where to go to eat later.
We go to 5 restaurants and we have tastings at each restaurant. And in between each restaurant, we have a historical stop. And then our guides tell us about the history of the city, the cool architecture, great stories about history. I mean, our city is full of great history. And so it's a 2.5-hour walking tour, and we just love it. We've been very successful. People love having that to do and trying out new restaurants.
And all right, the appetite is going to sign off from right here. I'm heading back to the kitchen, and I'm going to be tripping with Trip.
Woo!
Trip, they told me you were back here handling things.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. How you doing?
What's happening?
Oh, man, what's up with the Saints thing, man?
Hey, you got to represent the Saints. Who that nation, man?
All right, Redskins over here, Saints over there. Hey, no big deal, right? Private property.
Yes, sir.
What's the place about, man?
Man, we're about good cooking, good eating, good loving, man. Just put it into the food and helping make sure people have a good time, man.
All right, so you gonna cook it up for me?
Well, actually, my man Cam right here is gonna be doing the cooking today.
Cam, my man. Oh, got the gloves on. Bam, sanitation, baby. Gotta be important.
We got a great apprenticeship program. He's gonna drop some blackened gator, so it's alligator tenderloin. We got these cast iron skillets up to 700 degrees. Chef Paul Perdome out of New Orleans taught us this technique. It's all about getting the cast irons real hot, dropping this alligator or pork or redfish, steaks, and it just gives it such a great flavor. It's unbelievable. You guys will love it.
What is blackened? Because I hear people talk about it's the seasoning, but you said that's not exactly right.
Yeah, actually, Chef Paul Perdome invented this technique of cooking, which is the cast iron at 700 degrees to put the meat in with clarified butter. It's not a seasoning, it's actually the technique of cooking in this cast iron skillet. So it's a flavor that most people have never had, but I tell you, it's phenomenal. People love it. And right now, Cam's dropping blackened redfish, which Chef Paul Perdome invented and actually made redfish an endangered species. You couldn't even get your hands on it, man.
So what's my man Cam over here handling things, man?
Cam, I tell you what, we got a great relationship with the local learning center. We got an apprenticeship program. These kids are right out of high school, running an entire kitchen, doing redfish, shrimp and grits, crawfish etouffee, jambalaya, blackened redfish, blackened steaks, and these guys can do it on their own. We help them go to technical college, give them some apprenticeship dollars, tax credits, scholarships, and we just want them to take advantage of this great opportunity to have a career in the restaurant business. Hey, it's a win-win for everybody.
All right, look, I'm gonna let y'all finish cooking it up out here. I'm gonna go get a table.
Absolutely.
All right.
Great seeing you, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
Fist bump. That's right, man. Put them gloves back on. Cam,
Yo, how you doing?
You are the man.
Thank you, thank you.
I want you to break bread with me. I'm gonna taste some of this.
All right.
This is where we are, private property. We're in Lexington. It's Lake Murray. It's all happening here. You know what, Cam? I got one more stop to make, but before I go, I gotta have some more shrimp. Yeah, have one.
Try with the sauce.
All right, with the sauce.
You make me come alive.
I've never felt so free.
Can't get you off my mind. There's still so much to see. You bring out the best in me. Hey! You make me come alive.
There's still so much to see.
You make me come alive. I never felt so free.
Now, Phil Bill wasn't the only one finding treasures in Lake Murray country. Let's head back out on the water where angler Anthony Gagliardi and I found an underwater treasure of our own.
You can fish the docks here, but also there's a lot of spaces in the open water.
This is a great lake. I mean, Lake Murray is unique, especially for South Carolina. It has a lot of diversity. You know, you got 2 river systems that feed this lake, and so you have some water that's off color.
Get him.
I'm gonna try to catch this one in the middle of the interview right here.
I'll be right behind you.
There's just a lot of different things you can do on this lake, and it's almost like a good, you know, for lack of a better phrase, a training ground. You know, this is where I fished when I was growing up. So pretty much everything that I learned, I did it here.
Awesome, and what we're doing right now, we're kind of almost spot fishing. We're sitting in the open area looking for action.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the way I like to fish. And in the summertime, you know, it's the heat of the summer, 90-something degrees, these fish will come up in the water column. They don't sit on the bottom very often. They come up and suspend close to the surface, and they're just chasing small little pods of bait that are right below the surface, and it happens out over deep water.
Come on, where are you? Part of my job is to feed Phil. And the largemouth here, that's more of the sport fish, but you come across some stripers here, even when you're going for the largemouth.
Absolutely, especially this time of year. You know, Lake Murray is a great striped bass lake, and I love to catch them in the wintertime. That's when I usually spend my time fishing for the stripers. But, you know, when I want to eat one, which I do quite often, I like the striped bass, and that's what I go for. I don't know the last time that I've eaten a largemouth. I'd feel really guilty, I think. You know, eating a bass, but seeing as that's how I make my living. But the stripers are really good, though. They're good to eat.
Very nice. All right, well, let's go catch some fish.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, I'm feeling good. I know you're gonna catch at least 2. I got that feeling. You got a fish. The bird's got a fish. Well, there you go. Yes, sir. Under the boat. Keep them coming.
There we go.
Yes. We broke 3 on that one, right? Oh, that's a monster.
Cool.
Man, okay, how big do you think this guy is?
He's a 4-pounder.
4-pounder.
Yeah, probably just shy of 314, somewhere around there.
Oh, that's
3 3/4 a good one, though.
Woo! Pretty fish.
Lake Murray.
Yeah, he was right on a cane pole, right?
He was right on a brush pile, suspended over top of a brush pile on that point.
Yes, I'm still fishing. I'm incredibly jealous of that fish.
We caught a couple fish pushing 3 pounds, and then the last one I think might have been, it was probably right at a 4-pounder, and that's a good fish. I mean, that's a good tournament fish for me. You know, I'd love to you weigh in a lot of 4-pounders in your career, and you make a lot of money.
That's what I love about this guy. You heard that. He said we. He said we caught this fish.
Yeah, I mean, we're in the boat together. We're friends now, so yeah, what's mine is yours.
I like it, man. I like it. We're gonna see what the appetite has in store. I think he's got a striped bass coming.
Nice. Sounds good.
They're good. They're good coming out of this lake.
Hey! You make me come alive.
I've never felt so free.
Can't get you off my mind. There's still so much to see. You bring out the best in me. Hey! You make me come alive.
There's still so much to see.
You make me come alive. I never felt so free.
Time for our final food tour stop with 2 gals and a fork here in Lexington, South Carolina, and it's a good one. Let's watch the appetite go Italian, Aladia style.
Adam, I came into Aladia's today, and first thing I noticed was the interior design.
My wife, she designed it all. Honestly, I wish I could say I did this, but she did it. You know, we were actually on vacation, my mom and dad and our family, and we came up with the idea of naming it after my mom's grandmother, my great-grandmother, Aladia. And so we'd take some of the recipes we had and go forward with it.
You gave me a fascinating story about this artwork, and it was really interesting.
It is, it's special. My wife's father has painted everything in the restaurant, and I mean, you can see here it has Aladia's on it. He was sick, and my wife and I got him an art easel, and he had never painted before that, and he started painting, and he's amazing. And so all the artwork in here was painted by her father, Buddy Gilbo.
And then I noticed there were some family portraits over on the wall.
So Aladi and Domenico, my great-grandparents on my mother's side, it's all the photos are of them and their children. They came over from Italy, and all their sons, except for the youngest, Raimondo, fought in World War II.
And tell me about some of your items on the menu.
We started with some traditional Abruzzi, pasta dishes, lasagna, baked ziti, manicotti. As years went by, we started, playing with it, and our chefs started helping out and adding some things, and we added some other dishes like seafood risotto, a steak dish, and kind of put a little Italian flair on it.
There's some things going on in the kitchen, and I think it's about time for you and I to head back there, because I understand Chef Josh is back there waiting for us.
It tastes good. Wait till you taste it.
All right, I'm going to believe Adam, but right now we're going to head to the kitchen. I'm going to follow you.
Savor the flavor.
All right. Now, I understand that you're going to be cooking up a dish for us today.
Gonna have a pan-seared striper served with a bruschetta risotto.
How do we get started?
We're gonna get a little bit of oil so we can pan-sear the fish. And another one going for our risotto.
What's the next thing you're gonna do? What you got?
Pretty simple, with just some salt and pepper. Season up both sides.
And you know what's funny, Josh? A lot of people, when they think about fish, they think they got to do a whole lot of seasoning to it. But fish is one of those things that a lot of them don't need seasoning.
Keep them pretty basic. Try to honor the ingredient.
Honor the ingredient.
That's right.
Working with Josh, we're going to honor the ingredient. All right, let's honor the ingredient. Let's drop that puppy.
Should take no longer than 4 or 5 minutes.
So now we're just going to let it sear a little bit.
Yep, and get it to finish in the oven.
All right, so we're going to do the risotto next?
Yep.
So what are our ingredients here?
We're going to start with a little shallots, a little garlic. Get it nice and toasty brown. We're gonna add our capers. Gonna add our Pellegrini red wine.
Nothing like that sizzle coming off that pot. Oh yeah, you smell it. Everybody smell that? Yeah, I got the whole restaurant in there. You know what? You got a fan club, buddy.
A little fresh basil in there. We're gonna get some lobster stock in there.
And how long will we let this cook up?
Wait till the whole thing is boiling completely. Try to give it a little stir. Get it to blend up for us,
I'm gonna go check out the dining room area. I'm gonna let you finish cooking this up. I'm gonna go find me a plate to sit, and then I'm gonna eat.
All right.
All right, appetite's gonna do what I do. I'm gonna roll out. All right, while we're sitting here, Adam Chef Josh brought over this plate. It looks phenomenal. I am going to jump in. But first, I want to thank my
Lucky Stars.
Hold up. Dave.
Hey.
You've been sitting over there for the longest, man.
I love this plate. You met Adam 2004?
Oh, no, I hadn't.
Yeah?
Great.
Oh, gosh. Hey, mind about striped bass?
This is what we deal with all the time, but I want to thank my 2 girls and a fork, because I actually got a knife as well. I want to thank Adam. Marvelous job here. I know you went out and did some fishing.
This is a team sport. You saw Anthony's team shirt, Anthony Gagliardi. Put us on the fish 4+ pounder. Should have been there.
Yeah, we should have. With that in mind, everybody grab your glasses, raise them up, and as I like to say, throwing a hook in the water is fun, but I like eating much better. Bon appetit. Oh, yeah.
So as we all enjoy some true Italian on Main Street in Lexington, The Appetite and I have another great Lake Murray country adventure in the works, and this one delivers a boat full of fish and fantastic bistros from Irmo to the capital city of Columbia. See you next week.